Hello, hi, and welcome to this episode of the Mandy Mayer podcast. As per usual, I don't know why I said it like that. As per usual, this is the podcast where we chat all about your health and fat loss expedition, about how you can set those goals and achieve those goals on your health and fat loss expedition. I actually think I should relabel this podcast's name, and I should relabel it. I should rename this podcast from the Mandy Mayer podcast to the Tough Love podcast, right? Because today I've got a little thing on my mind, a topic of conversation on my mind that I want to chat to you about, because I see it so often. I saw it with myself as well during my several failed attempts at health and fat loss. And I see it so often in, just within the environment that I'm in, because, and what I mean by that is I'm in a lot of your sort of weight loss and fat loss communities, Facebook groups, and obviously it's something I deal with on a daily basis. I post content, I get DMs, I see the comments, I get tagged in things. So I see a lot of these things, and I'm constantly surrounded by it. And what I often see is, and I know this is, again, might sound very harsh, but I did say this is a tough love episode, Nair. So what I often see is a lot of people not taking ownership for their actions, right? I see a lot of people playing the blame game when it comes to not being able to, I want to say, create a healthier lifestyle and lose weight. A lot of people playing the blame game, and the blame can get pointed in or pushed in many directions. And I see those same people, because they're playing a blame game, I just feel that there's not enough ownership being taken for your actions on a daily basis or on a consistent basis. So my message today is actually very short, and the message is stop blaming everything around you and actually start taking ownership for a couple of things. Now, I know that must have been so difficult to hear. I would have probably not liked hearing that, if I'm very honest with you, but I do know it is something that maybe I should have heard more. Sorry, I got a phone call, and I took the phone call, obviously, because it was Momsy Poo. So I've got this golden rule with myself. I never miss a phone call from my mom or dad, right? So if I see them phoning, I will stop whatever I'm doing and I'll answer the phone call. Now I need to try and figure out where I was within this episode of the podcast. The blame game and taking ownership for your actions, right? And what do I actually mean by the blame game? And I really don't want to upset anyone, and this isn't me calling out anyone individually. I'm just speaking about it because I know it is something that I used to do. I always used to blame everything else. Like, I would blame my job, I would blame my boss because now he's keeping me later at work. My job was stressful, I would blame that. Or I didn't like my job, so I blamed the fact that I had a horrible job, or that I worked long hours, or that I was stressed the whole time. I blamed my hormones. I blamed the weather. I laugh, but it's true. I blamed the weather. Either it was too hot, or it was too cold, or it was too windy to go outside for a walk. I blamed the fact that I wasn't earning a good enough salary, right? I can think of so many different things, like I said, the hormones. I blamed that. Now, don't get me wrong, it is a lot more difficult as a woman with hormones, or even an imbalance within hormones, to lose weight, right? But the concept remains the same of creating a healthier lifestyle. So I know it is a lot more difficult when there's hormones involved, but we also can't consistently be blaming that and saying, I can't do it because of the hormones. No, you can do it. Just accept the fact that it is going to be more difficult. It might take a little bit more longer, right? You might have more ups and downs, but it is still 100% doable, right? You don't want to shut off the idea of you succeeding even before you start because you're saying you can't do something because of X, Y, and Z, right? Now, a lot of the times there might also be blame where you say, oh, I can't do it today because I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do that. Or you say, I'm not getting enough support from my partner or my loved one or my friends, so I can't do it because it's them that's not supporting me, or it's them that's not supporting you. Or another thing might be, you might say, I have no one to go and do the things with, or I don't have an accountability buddy. Right, so this message is going to be very short. I want you to take a moment to sit down and have a look at all the reasons why you are telling yourself that you can't do something. All the reasons that are stopping you from doing something. Have a look at every time someone says, you have to do X, Y, and Z. How do you answer that person, right? Do you answer and say, oh, thanks for that information, I can try and do that? Or do you say, I can't do that because of my hormones, or I can't do that because I work shifts, or I can't do that because I got X, Y, and Z going on for me, right? Again, have a look at how you respond to certain things, because oftentimes I'll speak about something and people will immediately become defensive and say, I can't do that because of X, Y, and Z. That, for me, is someone maybe playing the blame game, right? And I mean that in the nicest way possible. I'm not saying that, it's going to be easy for you. It might be more difficult for you than someone else. But you also need to take ownership and say, can I potentially try and do that? And can I make the tweaks and the changes in other areas or that area and move forward with that without creating your own roadblock or your own speed bump for yourself by saying that you can't do it? Like I said, a lot of the times I get people saying, I can't do it because of X, Y, and Z. Before you blame something or before you say you can't do something, try do it, because you'll actually be surprised at what you're capable of doing. Like I said, every time I post a piece of content, I will get a DM or a message or a comment saying, oh, but I can't do it because of X, Y, and Z. And I just want to pull my hair out. I'm like, but have you even tried? And then a lot of people will be like, oh, but I have tried. I'm like, but for how long? And what have you tried? Like, we don't stop trying. We keep moving forward. We do this consistently for the rest of our lives, right? So yes, there's going to be speed bumps. Yes, there's going to be hurdles. Yes, there's going to be things that are more difficult to execute. Yes, it might be easier for someone that is already fit and active as opposed to someone who now needs to create all these healthy habits from out of the blue, right? But that doesn't mean you can't do it. So why are you stopping at can't? You must remove that T from can't and tell yourself that you can, because you can absolutely do it. The only way to start moving forward is to start taking ownership for your actions as well, or for the lack thereof. I know that was horrible. That was not nice, right? But a lot of the times you're not seeing results because there is a lack of actioning of your daily non-negotiables that is taking place, right? So again, if that is the case and you deep down inside, you know that that is the case, have a chat with yourself and figure out how you can move forward in a very compassionate manner as well, how you can move forward and you can start doing things, how you can start doing things instead of just telling yourself that you can't do it, right? Own your actions. That is how you're going to start seeing progress within your health and fat loss expedition. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you like I usually do. Keep smiling, keep laughing, and keep being kind to one another. Much love, your very feisty friend, Mandy.